It's weird that, you know when people put out that bitch sympathy where they're all tearful. Bitch sympathy. When you're feeling that, your actions are always hateful. I don't have no sympathy for anyone anymore. It got burned away somehow by experience and it's not the nicest thing in the world to get cooked. Right? And that's the thing, men in life, we don't get to choose women, they choose us. But I tell you what we can choose. We can choose not to be treated like that. And end the suffering of it. And it's like Smith should have ended the suffering of living with that cunt a long time ago. That went on about 18 months ago where she did that podcast series. I got the entire story. I was listening to it because Tommy Soto might have covered it the once. And he was right. It's like, who stands for that? Who stands for that? She just emasculated him in front of the whole world, and it appears that they've got an open marriage that is just a one-way street. So she does whatever she wants, and having sex with strangers, she calls it healing. And she talks all kinds of new age spiritual mumbo jumbo about being the best version of herself. And it's like, no, she's an evil bitch who does whatever she likes, doesn't actually care about him at all, uses him as an absolute doormat. In his own home, his needs come last. And for clicks and views, she told him the truth about screwing another guy, but she called it healing. She says, I was in a difficult place, and so was he, and I felt so sorry for him that I had to start sucking his dick, pretty much. And it's healing to her, and she's got a lot she can give the world. She wants to heal more men that are much younger than her, and might find her attractive. That's the blessing that she wants to give the world, is access to her holes. It's like, you need to, if you've not seen that, where she just humiliates him in front of the whole world. It's like there's some people in this world who are, on the surface of it, far more, privileged or luckier than I am. And there's a good few of them I'd never trade places with because of the amount of grief that they suffer. Brad Pitt's one. Will Smith's another. It's like the person in the world who's supposed to love you the most makes a game of destroying you. And does it in front of the whole world. So we see that last night. I saw it happen, right? I had half an eye on it, and it came up as like an incident, like a news flash. Just 2 minutes after it was announced that it happened, I'm jumping straight on that Twitter, and people are already over it. They've uploaded the clip. First clip I saw, there was no "get a name out of your fucking mouth." That got censored out, but in loads of foreign versions they had it where you were fucking shouting. Mouthing off, shouting, angry. And it's weird because it's like, going slapping a man in the face like that's half-arsed. It's the kind of thing that in the real world, you start behaving like that, you'll get yourself killed. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, just slap someone and then disappear under your wife's coattails and then start mouthing off. So you crack the guy and then you start walking away. And it's like, you don't hit a guy like a girl. If you're going to hit him, you don't do something so half-assed as that. Because he wasn't interested in getting hurt, was he? He wasn't even interested in really hurting the guy. He wanted to put him down. He wanted to humiliate him. So, that's like projection. Although they'll call it something different, wouldn't they, in that, because it's not project, it's not imaginary, actually hit the guy. So it's like displacement. It means that really he should be knocking his wife's head off for rolling her eyes at him and setting him on this other guy. Weaponised him. You go and do your duty. Are you a man? Knowing that if he didn't do anything about it, that would be all he'd be hearing about for the next weeks. And it would be something to do with him. Because the whole world revolves around her. So that's what they call displacement. It's like when you get a stuffing from your boss at work and you then go home and abuse your kids. It's that. So it's like, oh, it's not difficult to see who he's really angry at, is it? And it's his wife who's cuckolded him, turned him into a joke. As to where even the lowest of the low like me can say, I'm glad I wouldn't change places with you. It's like every day I'd have murder on my mind if that were my wife. Every day I'd be thinking about how to kill her. I'd be thinking about how easier and how best to kill her. And it'd be a matter of, I'm leaving you. Why? Because if I don't leave you, I'm going to kill you. Why? Because you seem to get a real kick out of humiliating me in front of people. And then it's a matter of his kids have turned out fucking weird. And it's like, people talk about bad dad. Oh, my dad's terrible. I've got a chip on my shoulder because I was raised by a bad dad. Well, let's tell you what. I was raised by a bad dad, and so were my sisters. Well, there's worse things than being raised by a bad dad. You can be raised by a slag of a mother. And who can't say no to you. Who'd have rationales like, oh, well, I fucked everyone when I was 15 too, so it'd make me a hypocrite if I tell my daughter not to. Those kind of people. Trash. Just straight up evil trash. So he's married evil trash. He's had a couple of kids with evil trash. And he's put up with that treatment for how many years? 25 years? It's like he's a beaten man. He's an abused husband. Not supposed to be a thing, that though, is it? Well, I can tell you it is. It's like that. In that second, that force of fury unleashed in him, misplaced. So he goes after someone else. He actually attacks the guy when really he ought to be giving his wife an open-handed fucking slap in the face that lift her off her fucking feet. As to say, do what you want, say what you want, I'm fucking out of here. I don't know personally any man who's ever forgiven that kind of treatment or put up with it for as long as he had. So it's like, you have to admire his loyalty to some degree, but at what stage does it become like chemical addiction, trauma bonding, slavery? At what stage does it become codependent and abusive? And I'm like, oh, well, we're kind of past that stage. First time he let her get away with it was the last time he should have. Bad one, that. It's a bad one because at the same time, because of the way the world's crazy now and doesn't really understand violence, right? Doesn't really understand it anymore. They're not expert like my generation, so that'll be. So you've got it now. Loads of people are talking about it. And it's like the working class voices who are talking about it. They're like, oh, we've seen this before 1,000 times. The fantasist leftist voices, oh, they're all for setting up new classes of victim group in order to justify his actions. And saying that's what I want my man to be like, to defend me. And it's like, no. At that stage of the game, you've made your husband like is like an extension of your emotional need. And he's playing a perpetual guessing game as to what might make you happy when you're such a glum cunt. And it'd be a matter of vengeful, nasty women. Well, they complain that they're weak. Men can just do what they want. If I was a man like you, I'd just take whatever I wanted. They say. I was born a woman. If I was born a man, I'd just take whatever I wanted. And it's like, yeah, if you had like big muscles and big arms and big fists, you'd be going around slapping everyone in the face who hurt your feelings, wouldn't you? And it's like, that's not what it is to be a man. That's what it is to be a bitch. That's what it is to be a hateful, resentful old whore. And that's what he's married to. So it's like, Chris Rock will recover from a slap in the face. I don't think it's the first time he's ever had one. I don't think it's the first time he's ever had one at work. Fair enough. Anyone, if you can't handle a slap in life, if that breaks you, you need to have a word with yourself. I've lost count of the number of slaps I've had. So it's like, you have to get over yourself if you can't handle a slap. If your pride can't recover from a slap in the face, life's going to be real difficult for you. But it's a matter of who looks worse from this, Will Smith or his wife? And I think that, when people say cry for help, has anyone said it's a cry for help what Smith did? I'll say it. That's a cry for help. And that aggression, Chris Rock just got in the way of it, didn't he? That aggression was meant for his wife. Can't see past it. I heard the interviews and she's destroying this man for clicks. She's destroying this man for attention. And when she cheats on him, she calls it healing others. And it's like, this guy doesn't want any other woman but her. His mistake is loving a woman who doesn't love herself and can't love herself and hates him, hates herself, and hates everyone else. So it's like, who's got it worse? Him or Brad Pitt having them 4 or 5 kids with that lunatic Angelina Jolie? Who has the most sleepless nights about fuck things in their lives? John Voight, Brad Pitt, or Will Smith? Answers on postcard, usual address.